the most realistic online racing sim ever made. This is iRacing. Detailed laser scan tracks, fully dynamic real-world cars, and over 50 series to choose from. 6 online world championships offering over $100,000 in annual prizes. This is the original esport racing game. This is iRacing.
Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Turn 3 Racing Network. As tonight we are here at Talladega for our second round of Chase Eliminations. That means we have 8 drivers battling for 4 spots out here tonight, qualifying, getting ready to roll out here in just a few moments. Most of the field sitting on pit lane right now. But before we go any further, I do want to introduce my illustrious guest, championship winner. That's none other than Travis Elliott.
Hey, you know about that.
I do tend to know some things from time to time.
And I tend to, have a little bit of ability to drive a race car occasionally, so. How you doing tonight, KR?
Well, I'll tell you what, I'm doing spectacular as we are getting ready to wrap up. Well, I shouldn't say wrap up, but our second championship playoff race getting ready to kick off here at Talladega. So, this NSRA Sunday Select Series presented by pad.org is really winding down this season. Just 2 races left, and we're going to find out which 4 drivers make it to the championship race at Daytona here. And it starts with qualifying.
Yep, gotta get in a good spot. To get ready for the race. And I see the first car that I can see. I don't know about you, but it's JD Crow rolling out of the pits.
Jason Grahams was the one we were watching, a brand new paint scheme for Sunday night in that 65 machine, and JD Crow in the 17 making his way out onto the speedway as well. Hondo Co in the 9, fabulous Hudson Hornet machine gaining speed. So a lot of drivers starting to roll out. 5-minute qualifying session, and that means you got to get after it right away.
You got to get after it, and you got to be smooth. That's the name of the game. Every twitch and wheel turn that's not what you want it to be is, we're not talking about tenths of seconds. We're talking about like hundreds and thousands of seconds. So really, really small mistakes can lead to being from pole to being like 9th, 10th place, which in a field of, you said about 15 cars, that's leading to near the end of the pack.
Absolutely, and you have got to stay on point here tonight all race long. You really can't make any mistakes, and like you're saying, it starts right here in qualifying.
Yeah, it's not only like how your driving ability is, it's a mental thing too. Doing very poorly in qualifying can really affect you mentally, and it's kind of, it can get you frustrated that you know what you did wrong and you don't know what you can do to fix it other than drive more smooth. And right now I don't think anybody's on their first time lap, or they're on their first time lap, not their flying lap though.
Checking in on some of our Chase competitors. Russell Hancock in the 343 machine, running right along the wall here at Talladega as he goes through the tri-oval. He's gonna trip the timer as he goes across the line, and the 343 gonna drop down to that inside lane as he gets ready to try and post a flying lap. Hondo Co in the 9 right now on top of the leaderboard for the moment. We're gonna see how this all plays out. DJ Mitchell, another Chase competitor in that 61 machine, finding himself sitting 3rd as Chris Akers goes to the top.
And once again, there's one of the Candy Shack guys, and I'm sure the other 2 that are here tonight are gonna be right up there with them before qualifying's over. But right now the 4 Chris Akers is your pole sitter. I'm sure that's going to change maybe a couple times, and I don't know, maybe we'll get a surprise spot as Dana Osborne comes in second place currently. Oh, DJ Mitchell, a good lap by him.
As we watch the 4 of Chris Akers make his way, he was one of the fastest guys on the opening lap. Sometimes that translates to putting it on pole in your fast lap. Let's see what happens with the 4. DJ Mitchell with a 50.837. Paul Servant going to top him with a 50.772. JD Crow coming in second. Akers moving to third. Mitchell falls to fourth.
It's kind of surprising seeing DJ up here. Usually he's he comes from the back normally, so I wonder if it's a different kind of strategy tonight for him and the boys over at 3 Wide to maybe get at it early. Which I know I was talking to Hunter Hunter Reynolds a little bit before the race, and he was mentioning that he was worried about netcode tonight. So I wonder if you're going to see a couple of drivers give a lot more room, and I also wonder if we're going to get a lot more incidental contacts when there shouldn't be.
All right, so Crazy Dan 21 on his honeymoon, normally out on the track with us tonight, but watching from YouTube, and want to give a shout out to him and congratulations on the honeymoon. But guys, it is time to step away for the national anthem. No one go anywhere. We'll be back with tonight's starting lineup.
We take you down onto the track for our opening ceremonies.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise. Please remove your hats.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous flight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, as the drivers are starting to take to the grid. That means it is time to go through tonight's starting lineup. So let's get right into it for our NSRA Sunday Select Chase Elite 8. Oh my goodness, I'll spit it out here.
It's a tongue twister.
It absolutely is. On the inside of row number 1, your quick time qualifier with a 50.772. And is the 3 of Paul Servant. On his outside, the 26 of Hunter Reynolds. Row number 2 going to be the 17 of JD Crow. On the inside, on his outside, the 88 of Dana Osborne. The 27 machine of Sean Stevens outside row number 3, or I'm sorry, inside row number 3, and on his outside, that is the 4 of Chris Akers. Row number 4 going to be made up of the 04 of Mark Mann. On his outside, that's the 61 of DJ Mitchell. Row number 5 going to be made up of the 62 of Les Levy. The outside of row number 5 and the 10th starting position, well, that's the 25 of Jimmy Reynolds.
And row number 6, the 82 of Daniel Harrington on the inside. On his outside, the 9 of Pondo Cohen, P12 row number 7 is going to be the 343 of Russ Hancock and the 31 of Todd Poston. And rounding out your last row, it's going to be the 65 of Jason Grams and the 100 of Robert Fitzpatrick.
That is your starting lineup for tonight's Chase Elite 8. So,
They did that on purpose.
oh my goodness, that yeah, what a good night.
The Chase Elite 8. Oh man, it's gonna get crazy tonight, KR.
16 cars lining up for this one. We're gonna try and settle out 8 drivers for 4 positions. Let's take a look at our race info here tonight. Only 1 race per elimination round, meaning, well, we started with 12, we're down to 8. Next week, it is the final 4, and only 1 driver can walk away with the championship. As always, very important, no mistakes here on pit road. Talladega drivers all know how difficult it is to hit pit lane after you've been running wide open. Be watching for those very tricky pit road entries. You get that false sense of security here, Travis. You got all the room, you got all the time to look at that entry. And a lot of people tend to overthink it, and then you end up sideways, spinning out, speeding, any number of things on pit road.
Yeah, that's for sure. And the pace car just peeled off, so you know what that means. We're about to go green flag racing at Talladega Motor Speedway for the Chase Elite 8. Round of 8. I can't think of a better place to be at, KR, than Talladega Motor Speedway. The green flag is out. Paul Servant leads the field, along with Hunter Reynolds on the outside. Hunter Reynolds seemed to have got an okay start. Paul Servant on the inside got a pretty solid start there on the inside. It's hard to tell who's going to really pull away, but the 88 of Dana Osborne's all over Hunter Reynolds' bumper already, and already starting to build outside momentum there with the 4, the 88, and the 26. And Hunter's going to get a good shot from Dana Osborne going down the back straight and going into turn 3, KR.
Down the back stretch they go into turn number 3. Someone's going to lead the first lap. Who's it going to be? Could it be the 3 of Paul Servant, our chase contender? Will it be the 26 of Hunter Reynolds, who's looking to pick up a win and spoil everyone's plans here tonight as he works that outside lane? Down through the tri-oval, door to door, side by side they go. That 3 machine looking very solid, but Hunter Reynolds out in front, going to pick up that first lap led by about half a car length.
As Dana's just doing a great job on that outside, being on Hunter's bumper, but I don't know what the track temp is, but we've seen a couple blown engines this season already from aggressive pushing, so hopefully that won't become too much of a factor, and maybe they got their engine blocks figured out. But 17 of JD Crow's giving the 3 of Paul Servant a great shove on the bottom, not letting Hunter clear the 3 of Paul Servant, and they're doing a great job of keeping that outside line at bay, as Paul Servant is now clear of Hunter, I believe, but that outside just got a huge run. That is just great pushing. I think that just shows how good of a pusher the 88 of Dana Osborne is tonight, KR.
So the pack staying tightly bunched up. One driver who is scheduled to start who has not made his way out onto the speedway. That is Robert Fitzpatrick in the 100 machine. We'll see if he's going to make it out there, or if he whatever is keeping him behind the pit wall will keep him there. We'll let you know if he makes his way out onto the speedway. So 15 drivers out there, all 15 drivers right now, less than a second from each other, from first car, the 3 of Paul Servant, to last car, the 65 of Jason Grams. So low car count here from, let's say, the first race we had this season, where almost 30 cars, down to about half of that for this championship run. 8 of these drivers of the 15 out on the speedway, Travis, are chase competitors. So how do you tackle this race knowing that you're in kind of a reduced field?
I mean, you're really going to rely on your teammates. And I know I was talking to, like I said, I was talking to Hunter Reynolds a little bit before the race, and he was talking about how, you know, his main goal is just try to get Mark Mann a win, get him onto the final 4. So we'll see how that goes and how well they can make that plan happen. But you know, with a team as strong as Candy Shack Motorsports, with 3 of their drivers being here tonight and all being in the fight to get into the Final 4, there's a lot of cars to fill 4 spots and a lot of great drivers that would be well deserved of being in that Final 4 for next week, KR.
Well, speaking of Final 4 and championships, Crazy Dan wants to know how a championship feels. And now that we have a championship driver in the booth, we're going to have to ask you, how does it feel?
I mean, it's definitely not. It feels more like a team championship for me, because it definitely I did not do that on my own. I had great help with me all night. I had I had Hunter Reynolds. I was racing against him. I was racing against Mark Mann for the championship, and it's not a by yourself thing. You got a whole team with you, and they made it possible. It's kind of surreal, because I didn't really think, I was going to win a championship. I was going in there just to have some fun. Told Hunter, as long as, me or him won it, that'd be cool. And it was at Talladega, and last lap, we were 3 of the 4 Chase guys were 3 wide for the win. Just got lucky there at the end. But right now, the 88 of Dana Osborne just hopped up in front of his teammate. I think Hunter Reynolds cleared going into turn 1 this past lap, KR, but sorry, I got sidetracked there.
It can happen. So Dana Osborne in the 88 on the outside lane. His teammate, the 4 of Chris Akers, giving him a hard shove across that start-finish line to lead another lap for the 88 machine. Hunter Reynolds has dropped down to that inside line, just ahead of the 3 of Paul Servant. Everyone still bunched up very tightly together. These 15 cars all within 0.8 seconds of each other. So it is a very tight group here in this race. And we are about 10 laps away from our first round of green flag pit stops. And Travis, pit stops here at Talladega. These drivers all know that Talladega entry is a little bit wider than Daytona, but for some reason it seems to be the one that catches out the drivers the most.
Mark Mann earlier said that it kind of lulls you into a false sense of security if you're running Daytona a lot, because Daytona pit road speed 60 miles an hour, and at Talladega it's 55. So it could be that just that 5 miles an hour, you forget about it for a split second. And, like you said, you have a whole lot of room coming out of turn 4 to get to the bottom and get down to pit entry. There's so much concrete there. You have so much runoff just in case something bad does happen. But yeah, it's probably that minute detail of 5 miles an hour, and and you speed, you lock them up, you hit the cone, then you get a 40-second hold for speeding down pit road, and it just snowballs from there. But I'm kind of noticing already the outside line can build momentum, but they can't really continue their momentum. Like, we've seen a couple cars do it, but for me right now, it looks like that outside line is struggling just a tiny bit to build momentum up.
Well, the outside line for the moment, running side by side with the 26 of Hunter Reynolds, Paul Servant, and the 3 machine. The outside line, we see it time and time again. They fall back just a little bit down through the corners, but make up a lot of ground in the straightaways. And Paul Servant in the 3 looking to have some help from his teammate in that 88 to push him down this backstretch.
Yeah, they got about half a car to the 4, but you can even see that Dana is having to push so hard just to get Paul barely clear of Hunter on the bottom. So I'm definitely noting that the pushing is going to have to be very aggressive in order to get cars clear from that top to the bottom. And I don't know if it's just how the new aero package is. I know there was a recent update that updated the aero package for iRacing. So it could be that, or it could just be the track conditions. As Dana Osborne right now is side by side with his teammate with the 4 of Chris Akers behind him, and there's somebody that usually doesn't poke up early in the race. The 61 of DJ Mitchell running in the top 5. So it seems that we have a more aggressive DJ Mitchell tonight than we have in the past couple races, KR.
Yeah, DJ early on here at the front of the field. One of those drivers who kind of, when he wants to qualify, can qualify up near the front. When he chooses not to, he'll start at the back and then just slowly work his way forward. Kind of a pick your flavor approach to qualifying and how DJ Mitchell feels from day to day. But this week he tried to qualify, did a good job, finding himself 3rd car outside lane. So DJ, you know, he's going to be one of those guys who wants to make it in by winning this thing.
Yeah, it's good to see, and especially, you know, we're with how last week was. You know, we've already seen 2 cautions already, but we're going on to lap 13, about 5 to 6 laps from green flag pit stops, and we can see how this race is going to shake out for the rest of these 75 laps around Talladega. And right now you still have Paul Servant and Dana Osborne side by side going to the start finish line, that lap being led by the 88 of Dana Osborne, who is also supporting a new paint job for the Chase Elite 8 tonight, KR.
Yeah, a couple new paint jobs out there, and I think everyone has a really sharp looking car for sure. A lot of effort goes into these paint schemes week in and week out. I'll tell you, I've painted a few cars. It's not essentially the easiest thing in the world to do. But
yeah, it's very interesting as the 88 just cleared the 3. It's kind of weird seeing them be so reserved tonight, especially with how this it could be that, you know, everybody's, you know, very anxious for the final 4, as the 4 of Chris Akers drops in from the 88, so that gets all 3 Candy Shack guys on the bottom. So I can only imagine they're going to be coming to pit road here in a couple laps, as the 61's going to get clear of the 3 of Paul Servant and drop down, leaving the 25 of Jimmy Reynolds leading that outside, with the 9 of Pondo Co behind him. And it looks like everybody's starting to scramble to get to the bottom lane so they don't get left out and have to go to the back of the pack here, KR.
Yeah, the 25 leading the charge in that outside lane. Just 2 cars there in that group. That's the 25 and the 9. You mentioned those 2. But then a little bit further back, you got 2 more cars. That's Russ Hancock, our championship contender, and Jason Graves in the 65. They're trying to work together in that outside lane. And man, I'll tell you what, everyone's starting to get lined up on that bottom lane, starting to try and position themselves for a green flag pit stop.
Yeah, and it looks like the 25 and the 9 both get clear. It's good. That was good heads up by them to see the spots and fill them. Because, you know, if you can't get a spot and get clear, just look at the 343. He's, you know, on the outside by himself, going to try to fall in line somewhere. Maybe even he'll try to push to get in front of somebody and get further up, but it's going to be hard for him to find a spot unless he can ask somebody pretty nicely and they might let him in. But lap 16, I'd say they're coming in the next 2 laps. The field being led by the 4 of Chris Akers. And right now the 343 is still stuck on the outside trying to find a spot to fall in line. And I would only assume he's either going to fall in line. It looks like Dan Harrington is giving him plenty of room to hop in line in front of him. Looks like it was a little bit of a checkup with 65, but everybody is now single file on the bottom, KR. So it's about to happen. The race is about to start amping up here more and more each lap.
So all 15 cars single file right down along the yellow line. Green flag pit stops. The order of the day getting ready to come up. Chris Akers in the Ford continuing to lead. So now that everyone has positioned themselves here for a green flag pit stop, do you think maybe someone tries to take advantage of a little bit of the single file action, or is everyone just going to try and ride this out and hit pit road at the same time?
It's hard to say because there's people like JD Crow who like to run a little bit longer than everybody else normally does. You might get a couple stragglers who try to go a little bit longer, but I would assume you see everybody hit pit road at the same time. With how spread out the field gets, I don't think you're taking any chances. As soon as the leader goes down, I feel like everybody's probably going to hit pit road. As Candy Shack comes down, and I believe that is DJ and Russell Hancock, but the people that stayed out is Alliance Motorsports, Pondo Co., JD Crow, and John Stevens, Mark Mann, and Les Levy. So field kind of getting cut in half right there, KR. So we'll see how the rest of the race kind of pans out as the three of Paul Servant just hit his box.
Yeah, definitely almost split right down the middle. 7 cars did not hit pit lane this time. Means we had 8 cars hit pit lane.
I'm assuming they're going to come down this time.
It looks like they are. So our next round of drivers on the pit road, Jimmy Reynolds and Hunter Reynolds, very aggressive entries there. Jimmy actually locking them up. Hunter in that 26 machine making a pass here, but the 3 of Paul Servant going to lead everyone that made that first pit stop off of pit road. He's joined by Dana Osborne in the 88 and the 31 of Todd Poston. So now they have a 3-car breakaway. Are they going to be able to catch and pass everyone else that is sitting on pit road? Here comes the 26, the 25 of Hunter Reynolds, also or of Jimmy Reynolds now making his way out, but the 17 of JD Crow trying to get up to speed. Paul Servant in the 3, full head of steam by those 3 cars. I think that's going to be an easy pass for the 3, the 88, and the 31.
Oh yeah, for sure. But I'm noticing that the 4 of Chris Akers and the 61 of DJ Mitchell were both in the pits for extended amount of time, and it looks like both of their stops were almost 50 seconds. So I'm wondering if they got a speeding in the pit road and got a 40-second hold, and that's going to really, throw a wrench into theirs. I'm trying to see if I see a penalty anywhere, but I mean, obviously they're farther back than anybody else, so they're going to have a lot of work, starting this uphill battle early on in this race tonight. But the 3 of Paul Servant, like you said, just steamrolled past Hunter and company that pitted together. And right now Hunter is leading the 17 of JD Crow, being followed by Mark Mann, Les Levy, and Pondo Co. It's kind of crazy. Every week we see green flag pit stops and we see how spread out the field gets. And like last week we saw the leaders were about 8 seconds ahead. It was just the top 2 and two lap cars.
Well, now we're starting to see a challenge for the race lead develop. The 26 of Hunter Reynolds is caught up with those 3 cars. He's got the 17 of JD Crow pushing hard on him. And Sean Stevens in the 27 machine has just set the fastest lap of the race. Several other drivers setting their fastest lap. So everyone really starting to turn up the jets here after this first round of pit stops.
Yeah, everybody's that intensity is starting to happen more and more as you see a big. I don't know what just happened. It looked like the 17 got a little too wide or something, but that's going to allow Mark Mann to fall in line behind Hunter Reynolds. And now we have 2 lines with the 88 going up in front of Hunter. And now that Dana Osborne wants to lead, and with how big of a gap that Paul Servant has between him and the 31, and the 31 is an excellent pusher there, but that's going to not really do anything because the 88 is going to hop right down in front of his teammate there. As the pack is starting to come up onto Chris Akers and DJ Mitchell, not too far back, about half of a straightaway, and that's going to close very quickly comparative to 2 cars versus 13. KR, tonight is really that's so unfortunate for and Chris Akers and DJ Mitchell are both a part of the chase too.
Not only that, but Dan
Sure, I'll say it
Harrington
again.
has lost the draft as well. The 82 machine
yeah.
running solo. So green flag pit stops really have thrown a wrench in 3 of our chase drivers' plans. Dan Harrington, Chris Akers, DJ Mitchell,
And
all
Russ
finding
Hancock.
themselves. Yeah, and Russ Hancock. So Hancock at least has a hookup with the 65 and Jason Grames. They are a little bit further back, but 4 of our chase competitors in desperate need of a caution to get back into this thing.
And I'm not too sure how close the points race is, but we have 4 chase drivers in the top 6, and I know Mark Mann is very well off in the points, and I would assume the 3 of Paul Servant and the 80 of Dana Osborne also, just by how their season has gone. But 6-7 spots is the difference between getting in and not getting in, KR.
Absolutely. And right now, when you have 4 chase competitors that have lost the lead draft out of 8 of your competitors, well, the drivers in this group here, now they just need to hold on and let this thing ride out. They're hoping that there's no yellow, because if a caution doesn't come out, you're looking at your 4 chase drivers for next race to finish this thing out.
That'd be you definitely can't really. You got to still think positive, even though you're about to go a lap down, possibly. I mean, anything could happen. That lead pack could wreck before they even get to the 61 and the 4. But Dana Osborne making a big move down to the bottom, got into the apron a little bit. I checked up the inside. He's gonna hop back up in front of Hunter Reynolds, and it looks like they're starting to heat up a little bit back or up here in the front pack. KR getting a little more racy every now and again, making aggressive moves like that.
We have 10 drivers in this lead pack right here. Of these 10 drivers, 4 of them are chase contenders. Paul Servant in the 3, the 31 of Todd Poston, the 04 of Mark Mann, and the 88 of Dana Osborne. All 4 of those guys chase contenders. Now you're Les Levy in the 62. You still want to try and win this thing, but you got yourself a little bit of traffic to work through with that 62 machine. Not only that, but you got 4 chase contenders in front of you as well. How do you approach that situation?
I mean, I would assume for Les, I think, and I say this for everybody, if the win presents itself, by all means they're going to take it. There's no reason to not try to go out for a win, but I would assume the goal of Les, which I believe Les is on Alliance Motorsports, so I would only assume that their goal is to try to get Mark Mann up there and try to get him a win, get him locked in for the final 4, or go for the win. Spoil a chance to get immediately promoted or immediately put through to the final round. But that's where I would be coming from, not being in the chase. But everybody's different. Everybody race is different in how they want to progress. But it looks like the 4 Chris Akers and the 61 of DJ Mitchell are going to go a lap down, and that just means they're going to race even harder to be the first car 1 lap down. I'm surprised that they didn't try to line up on the bottom in front of Dana Osborne and try to stay in front and be the first cars, be the last car in the lead lap to not have to worry about racing to get the lucky dog. Especially the 4 being in front of his 2 teammates.
I think a little bit of the speed difference had a lot to do with the decision to not do that. In my opinion, that's, I don't know, maybe they just didn't think about it soon enough.
Yeah, I mean, obviously they were probably going about 10 miles an hour faster at least, so that would have checked up the inside line, and that could have caused the big issue. But you know, you would think that your teammates would let up just a little bit to try it.
So Dana Osborne in the 88, continuing to lead. Hunter Reynolds in the 26, working that outside lane. And now you see the 4 and the 61. They're making a move. They're going to try and make that third lane work. So they used the momentum as the field passed them, get tucked back in. But man, they maybe we haven't heard the last of the 4 and the 61 just yet.
As the 4 and the 61 go to the outside line, and typically in my expert opinion, KR, when that middle line currently has issues building momentum and building runs, typically running the outside the top line usually it works very well, just because you can get the good runoff. As you can see, the 4 of Chris Akers getting a massive run off of Les Levy, and that's going to get him even with Les, but he has no help. I'm sure if he had DJ behind him and maybe one other car, they would walk right past his outside line just because of the numbers game that's on the bottom. There's only 4 cars in that middle right now, and that lone car of Chris Akers on the outside, not really going to do anything currently by himself. So it looked like the 9 was going to hop out there with him, but it looked like he was just getting out of line a little bit, maybe to cool his engine off. But Mark Mann's going to clear to the bottom, and we are actually coming up on some green flag pit stops again, KR, I believe.
Yeah, we are getting close to another round of green flag pit stops, and it all determines on when these guys want to hit pit road. Hunter Reynolds last on pit lane, lap 18. Dana Osborne, 88, last on pit road, lap 17. We could see these guys maybe try and flip-flop. Maybe everyone going to hit pit lane at the same time. But 10 cars, well, we'll make it 12 cars in this lead pack, with 2 of them being off the lead lap. But with that many cars coming down pit lane, as compared to when you had all 15 cars in the pack, maybe we'll see everyone try to pit together here. Maybe we'll still see teams doing their own strategy, and maybe you see 4 cars come down versus the other 6.
Yeah, we had, what was it? It was Hunter, JD Crow, Mark Mann, Jimmy, Sean Stevens, and Les. They stayed out 1 lap longer than Candy Shack and DJ Mitzel and Todd Poston. So I would assume that the Candy Shack guys are going to pit first because they have a lap less fuel. But yeah, if I'm Hunter and the guys over at Alliance Motorsports, I'm trying to see if, I'd be asking if, hey, do you think we should try to stick with Candy Shack? Which, I mean, it worked out last time and they didn't really lose any ground, but not every pit stop's like the previous pit stop. Something can happen. Somebody can lock up. Somebody can speed going into pit road. So I'd assume you see Candy Shack hit pit road maybe this time or next time by, as the 82 of Dan Harrington's going to go a lap down. That's going to make 3 cars 1 lap down, fighting for their lap back, and all 3 of them are all chase contenders, KR.
Yeah, the 82 of Dan Harrington going to slide in to the tail end of this thing, try and get caught up and get into that first car 1 lap down battle. Right now, that is being led by the 61 of DJ Mitzel. He has the 4 Chris Akers on his back bumper. So now we have 3 cars trying to fight this out. And one thing about NSRA Sunday Select Series, green flag pit stops historically spread this field out, and when the field gets spread out, the cautions are less likely to come out. As I look through my history notes, these drivers that are on that battle to be the first car 1 lap down, got to be wondering if that caution's ever going to fly here. As we got another round of pit stops.
Ooh.
The 26 of Hunter Reynolds stays out. Candy Shack Motorsports hitting pit lane with the 31 of Todd Poston.
Yeah, it was a big lockup by the 31 to get it slowed down. hopefully he doesn't get a hold and, kind of hurt his chances also for getting into the Final Four. But the 61 of DJ Mitzel, oh, looked like the 17 of JD Crow went a little bit too high, and DJ was going to poke his nose in there. And good heads up by the 61 and the 4 to really avoid any kind of contact to get damage and hurt their race even more. And I would assume you would see the rest of the field hop down pit road, as it looks like, I believe that was the 17 is staying out. I don't know if that was by choice or by where he was in the pits, but they are 3 wide right now in pit road, KR.
Yeah, a very close battle on pit lane. DJ Mitchell, Sean Stevens, Chris Akers all trying to hit pit road. Pondo Co overshoots his box a little bit. But our next round of drivers on pit lane, the 17 of JD Crow did not hit pit road. He is all by himself. So he is going to lose a ton of time in that 17 machine because he has no drafting help. So he is going to make his entry onto pit lane here. He makes that left-hand turn down below the yellow line. JD Crow heading for pit road. Hunter Reynolds in the 26, trying to be your race leader. But Dana Osborne in the 88 and the 3 of Paul Servant up to full speed. They're going to motor past the 4 of Chris Akers. And now as we go on board with the 88, you can see he's going to blow by the 04 of Mark Mann, the 25, and the 26. But Dana Osborne now leading all the drivers who have hit pit lane. JD Crow still sitting on pit road being serviced by his crew. He starts to make his way out onto the super speedway. Dana Osborne going to easily blow by the 17 and pick up the race lead.
Yeah, I mean, the 17 might get lucky depending on where he comes out with how spread out the rest of the field is. You definitely have a lot of gaps that he could fall into. I'm looking through the field and I see, the 27 of Sean Stevens. There's the 82 of Dan Harrington. So he might get lucky with how the field's playing out. But looking back at how Dana and the 3 and the 31 all just drove past Hunter and then and that just shows you like the slight advantage of pitting a little bit earlier sometimes. You can if you can get formed up quick, you can really pull a good amount of time. And all 3 of them cleared Hunter and the people that pitted with Hunter and really gave themselves the lead again. And right now you got the 61 and the 4 make a move on the outside, trying to get in front of the 88 of Dana Osborne. Not have to worry about fighting for the lucky dog if they can do that and both be in front of the 88. And if this field kind of chills out a little bit, but that 3 of Paul Servant's going to hop up in front of the 61 and take all that momentum that the 61's going to give him. Big bump going into turn 3. Got the 3 a little bit of a wiggle. And the 61's just going to get glued to the 3's bumper. Great pushing by the 3, but it looks like JD Crow is still by himself, but he has a couple pairs of cars in front and behind him. So looks like he's not in a bad spot, but he's also not in a great spot, KR.
No, and another round of green flags pit stops has whittled down our lead pack. When they hit pit road, there were 10 drivers on the lead lap who all were running together. Now, after that round of green flag pit stops, well, we're down to 6 drivers that are on the lead lap in this lead pack. And the last one in the 6th spot, that's the 04 of Mark Mann. So he's still sitting pretty. And if this thing continues to have this green flag run field to it, even though he finishes 4th, he'll be one of our championship 4 drivers.
And then you have the 61 got clear, and so did the 4. Hunter Reynolds went out there to what I assume is to try to get some momentum and clear the 3 of Paul Servant, the 88. And right now, him and Mark Mann are the only 2 cars on the outside. But right now, the 61 and the 4 are both the last cars on the lead lap, being in front of the 3 of Paul Servant, which I assume is by design, which we saw last week how well Oh, it looks like the 4 went high and the 61's gonna stay low. I don't know why they would do that, but last week we saw Candy Shack, you know, at that last you know, what was that, like 8 laps, dropped back and picked up their teammate, and it worked out for them. So great camaraderie and working well together as a team for Candy Shack. So I'm assuming they're going to try to do everything they can to get the 4 his best chance of being on the lead lap to fight to get in that final 4 spots, KR, which the 88 is going to hop up in front or behind the 4, and I'm assuming he's going to shove the 4 clear of the 61, and I wouldn't even maybe say that the 88 gets clear, but the 4 definitely is going to get clear to the bottom, but it doesn't drop. That's interesting.
Chris Akers not dropping down to the bottom. He's going to keep that 88 tucked in behind him. Either way, as long as that 4, maybe the 4 and the 88 work together to keep that inside lane pinned down. If that 4 can keep the nose out in front of the lead car on that inside line, which happens to be the 3 of Pulsar Hunt right now, maybe you just ride this thing out and wait for a caution.
Yeah, that's possible, and it looks like we have a second small pack forming with those 2 pairings of cars that was in between that JD Crow was in between, being led by the 62 of Les Levy. So the only one that's there would be the 82 of Dan Harrington, but he's scored a lap down. I mean, you know, KR, if anything, maybe Dan Harrington might be in a good spot with how that lead pack is going to get. They're going to start racing a lot, and, you know, they might get a wreck, and they might collect the 61 and the 4, which them being in front, I would assume that they would be okay unless they're the ones getting turned. But, you know, it's hard to say right now with the second pack. They still have a lot of ways to go to catch back up, but right now we're on lap 43 of 75, and the 4 is going to get pushed by the 88. Yeah, I'm assuming what they're doing, KR, is the 4. I was about to say what I think they're doing. They completely change it up, and the 4 of Chris Akers is going to drop down in front of the 61 of DJ Mitzel.
Well, right now, if the caution came out, everyone would end up back on the lead lap. Chris Akers, DJ Mitzel, who are right now in front of the race leader, last 2 cars on the lead lap. And then Dan Harrington in the 82, only car scored 1 lap down currently, so he would be able to receive the free pass. So, man, you got 3 drivers looking for a caution here.
Yeah, and you got about, 6 that aren't. I'm sure the top 6 would love to see this go green, but they're starting to get a little racy up there with the 61 and the 4 switching spots constantly. The 88's going to give the 61 a good shove, and that's going to get him in front of the 4 of Chris Akers. I don't know if they know that they can, you know, settle down a little bit, or they just want to keep racing. I mean, you're in a race car, you might as well race, as Hunter Reynolds is going to be on the outside with the 88 of Dana Osborne. And I'm assuming Hunter's going to do everything he can to get the 88 clear of the 61 so they can kind of ruin their chances of getting that you know, that being the last cars on the lead lap, and making it to where instead of all the cars get their back on the lead lap, only 1 does. So definitely some kind of weird strategies playing out in this lead pack right now, KR.
The DJ Mitzel in the 61 leading the charge of this group, but he is one of the last cars on the lead lap. Chris Akers in the 4 pushing hard on him. We are about 6 laps away from another round of green flag pit stops as the 88 of Dana Osborne drops down to the inside. He's going to put the 61 and the 4 1 lap down and take over the top spot. Hunter Reynolds in the 26 has Jimmy Reynolds on his back bumper. The 26-25 teammates working together in that outside lane from Alliance Motorsports. They got nothing to lose and everything to gain with a race win. So be watching these 2 drivers.
Yeah, out of this lead pack, they're the only two that are not in the chase. As the 61 looked like he was going to try to get in front of Hunter to take that momentum and try to get back in front of the 88, but Hunter and Jimmy and Mark Mann are going to go around him. Hunter, it looks like he's clear from where I can see, and going into the turn, they're 3 wide, 2x2 going into turn 1, and right now the 61 is being pushed by the 31, which, by the way, KR, you know, I said earlier, the 31 is an excellent pusher. We've seen him push Mark Mann to a win a few weeks back from out of nowhere, and we've seen him push the 343 of Russ Hancock, or was it Russ, or was it Donald Bennett, or was that it? Is that the name?
I'm gonna be honest, I don't remember either.
It was somebody that is in the chase. But the 31 is gonna be behind his teammate of DJ Mitzel, and right now, you know, DJ Mitzel would be the first car 1 lap down, and that would get him the lucky dog, and the 4 would be trapped 1 lap down still. Also, the 82 of Dan Harrington would also be. So everybody's starting to get single file, and that could only mean one thing. But the bad thing is the 31 and the 61 were on the outside, but the 61's going to get clear. Now the 31's going to have to find a spot in line. So KR, they're going to be coming to pit road, I'm assuming, in a few laps. And we'll see how much further this field gets thinned out.
All right, so the 61 of DJ Mitzel leading all the drivers right here in this pack. That 88 machine is your race leader. Mitzel, last car on the lead lap. Chris Akers in the 4, the first car 1 lap down. We are just a handful of laps away from green flag pit stops. Let's check in on this second group of drivers. That is the 9 of Pondo Co., the 17 of JD Crow, the 62 of Les Levy, championship contender, 1 lap down driver. That's the 82 of Dan Harrington. Then you have the 27 of Sean Stevens. Now, these 5 drivers all trying to play catch up. They have been running single file, but they have not been able to match the pace of the front pack. So they're just kind of staying about even, but falling back just a hair.
Yeah, they really got to sort it out if they want to catch back up and be competitive to this lead pack, which this lead pack, even though they've been fighting and racing pretty hard, you know, they're still not able to make up a lot of ground. It's like they're gaining an inch and then they lose a mile every lap, and you know, we're gonna see the field hit pit road, which I'm wondering now, as the field starts to get stretched more and more thin, if you're gonna stick to your pit cycle and, you know, keep doing that, or if, you know, we might see Hunter and Jimmy and Mark Mann hit with Candy Shack, like Candy Shack has been pitting, which Dana Osborne and Todd Poss and Paul Servant all on 17 laps on their fuel tank. So definitely getting close to time to run down pit road. So I'm wondering if we're going to see them come this time by, and if they're going to be joined by another team, KR.
Yeah, the 61 of DJ Mitzel, 88 of Dana Osborne, the 31 of Todd Poston, the 4 of Chris Akers. Here we go. They are all going to pit together.
Yep, Hunter and Mark and them don't want to lose an inch to Dana and Paul up here, and you know, I think that's a very smart call on them. They're going to come out together. Hopefully nobody gets hit with, you know, a speeding penalty or a bad exit on pit road, but the other group looks like one person pitted from there. There was 5 cars. Now there's only 4. Your leader is now the 9 of Pondo Co. And
Dan Harrington made his way onto pit road. So Pondo Co., your race leader, the 17 of JD Crow. Now in second, the 62 of Les Levy, the 27 of Sean Stevens. Those are your top 4 drivers. And they are also all planning to hit pit road here, I'm sure, within this lap or the next one. The 17 of JD Crow. Looks like he's going to join them as well. Looked like he was maybe moving up to the high side to give room to everyone to hit pit lane, but he's going to pull it onto pit road. So this group of 4 on their pit stops. The 3 of Paul Servant winning the race off of pit lane of the drivers who pitted. Dana Osborne right behind him. Now the 26 of Hunter Reynolds closes in. The 61 of DJ Mitchell looks like he's going to get past. That's not good news for him as the 4 of Chris Akers drops down to pick up the 61 of DJ Mitchell. I thought for sure that Chris Akers was going to try and stay with the momentum, but no, he's going to have I would say, a good sign of sportsmanship there. He picked up that 61.
Yeah, I mean, the 61's probably his best friend and also his worst enemy right now, because, you know, the people who are racing for position in the top 5, top 6, they really don't want anything to do with you. You're just in their way. So, you know, right now Chris Akers is his only friend really to help them, you know, move up. And DJ, you said Paul Servant won the race off pit road. DJ actually beat everybody out of pit road by a large margin. That's why he just got swallowed up by the rest of the field. But it looks like once again we might have lost a few drivers.
Yeah, Jimmy
in that pit
Reynolds,
cycle.
Mark Mann falling back just a little bit here.
And it looks like Hunter's going to go pick them up and help them out.
So Paul Servant, Dana Osborne, Todd Poston, your top 3. All 3 are Chase competitors. The 343 of Russell Hancock, well, he's about ready to go a lap down. That is going to give us 4 Chase competitors off the lead lap, and all 4 battling to be the first car 1 lap down now, as the 3 of Paul Servant does work his way around the 343 and the 65 of Jason Graves.
Now, it's going to be 4 Chase contenders 1 lap down, but 5 people fighting for 1 lucky dog spot. So it's going to get very wild here. I mean, we haven't had a caution all night. It's been green the entire time, and we're going to see them hit pit road one more time tonight, KR. But yeah, Hunter Reynolds is dropping back to pick up the 25 and the 04 to help them catch back up to the field. And, you know, they're going to have to make a very good effort of pushing, with the gap being, you know, 2.5 seconds, almost 3 seconds from Mark Mann to the leader. So they got a long ways to go. But we'll see how they end up here before this next, you know, round of green flag pit stops. I'm assuming that it's going to be green flag pit stops with how it's been tonight, but you never know with this lead pack growing in lap cars and people getting more and more desperate as the laps run down tonight, KR.
Yeah, this is a lead pack that consists of 3 drivers: Paul Servant, Dana Osborne, Todd Poston. Then 2.5 seconds behind Todd Poston, well, that's the 25 of Jimmy Reynolds. He's scored in 4th spot. So yeah, we do have quite a few lap down cars here in this battle amongst our top 3. And speaking of the 61 of DJ Mitchell, pushing hard on the 88 to get him to the front.
And, you know, it's just all in the fight to be in front of the leaders before caution comes out. And, you know, you have the 343 gonna want to start getting into that fight, and, you know, the 65 I'm sure would love to get back on the lead lap. And right now DJ's doing a great job. He got the 88 clear. That leaves him and the 4 on the outside by themselves, and they got a lot of work to do to get both of them in front of the leader of the 88 of Dana Osborne. And looking back at Hunter and Mark Mann and Jimmy Reynolds, it looks like they got all together pretty well. The gap currently from Jimmy to Dana is 2.8 seconds. So they definitely have a lot of work to do. They finally got, you know, sorted out. And with the numbers disadvantage not being in their favor, they got a lot of work ahead of them for the rest of this race tonight, KR.
DJ Mitchell in the 61 pulls in front of the 88 of Dana Osborne. Todd Poston in the 31, now trying to take the race lead by pushing the 4 of Chris Akers. back to the lead lap as that 31 machine going to have the 343 of Russell Hancock right behind him. So DJ Mitchell out in front of the 88. So too by a nose is the 4 of Chris Akers. That puts the first car 1 lap down at this moment. Russell Hancock, he would receive the free pass. So again, we got a race within the race. The top 3 drivers, Dana Osborne, Todd Poston, and Paul Servant running 1, 2, and 3.
Ooh,
as
Dana
Todd
got a little loose
Poston
there. That could have been the free pass and lucky dogs right there as the 4 of Chris Akers hops out in front of DJ. I didn't mean to interrupt you there, KR, but Dana had a big wiggle on the bottom there. Kind of caught me off guard. That's the most car action we've seen all night, really.
So with that being said, though, Jimmy Reynolds, Hunter Reynolds, and Mark Mann are closing in on this pack because of the shuffling that is going on amongst this lead pack. Oh, contact with Jason Graham's top posting sideways. Whoa. And the 65 is going to go spinning. And he has smacked that inside wall, and he has got it on.
Oh, it's come back up. That's going to be a caution.
And the 65 pulls off the race surface. We're still green, and he is just going to post up and wait for a yellow.
Oh,
wow.
Did he get beached?
No, you could have cleared the car.
Yeah, he could have got that out of the way. But, you know, that's... I mean, I get what was probably in his head. Didn't want to make a move, and then, you know, that couple cars that were coming. So it's understandable, but could have kept pulling it down. Unfortunate to see this race get a caution, but and you know what, KR? We're within the fuel window. So it's only going to get more crazy from now, especially with the 4 Chris Akers and DJ Mitchell, you know, being scored ahead of the leader. They're on the lead lap, and the 343 of Russ Hancock is going to get the lucky dog, I would assume, unless he was involved in that contact. But your race just went from 4 chase drivers to what is that? 7 now? I'm bad at math.
Let's do quick math and call it 10. 10 chase drivers.
I'm cool with that. 10 chase drivers fighting in the Chase Elite 8.
I said quick math. I didn't say correct math.
I mean, you know, if you're fast, it doesn't matter if you're right or wrong because nobody can really question you, yeah?
Right. All right, so Dana Osborne getting caught up to the pace car. So, too, is the rest of the field.
Big lockup on Bono Co. A little bit of miscommunication where the field was, came in a little too hot, locked them up.
All right, so the 343 of Russell Hancock, we'll see if he is going to get the free pass. I expect everybody on the lead lap to hit pit road because, as you mentioned, we are inside the window to make it to the end of this thing, and the 88 leads the field on the pit lane. It looks like the 343 of Russell Hancock, once he gets past the start-finish line, should be given the go-ahead to pass the pace car.
Yeah. Surprised we didn't see, you know, somebody try to gamble a little bit. Maybe see, you know, the 82 take the wave around, get his lap back, you know, on the free pass. But he hit pit road, but Ostermont winning the race off of pit road, followed by the 88 of Dana Osborne. Now, I would assume that's the last time we're going to see them hit pit road unless a wreck happens and people have to come fix their car or take a fast repair. But this race just got a whole lot more interesting, and I can only expect it's going to get more and more interesting as it goes on, and the intensity is going to start rising as each lap ticks away to the final 4KR.
Oh, man. So here we go. That is going to put 7 drivers back on the lead lap. And so with that said, guys, we are going to take a quick little break. No one go anywhere. We'll be right back after this. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, and the lights have gone out on the pace car as we bring our first caution to a close. We have restacked this field. The 3 of Paul Servant, the 88 of Dana Osborne, going to restart on the front row. Row number 2 going to be made up of the 04 Mark Mann and the 31 of Todd Poston. So 4 championship drivers in the first 4 positions. Then we got a couple Reynolds. That's Hunter and Jimmy for row number 3. Then you got to work your way back just a little bit till you get to the next championship contender. That's the 61 of DJ Mitzel and the 4 of Chris Akers. They are back on the lead lap along with Russell Hancock in the 343. The only championship contender not on the lead lap in this situation, well, that's the 82 of Dan Harrington, as he is going to try and work his way forward. Anything could happen on this restart, Travis. We could see a car miss a shift, go for a spin, bring out the yellow flag, and that would put the 82 back on the lead lap.
Yeah, and you know, it's only going to get more intense up here, racing for the lead. You're going to have, you know, the 61-4 and the 343 all trying to make a push to the front. And there could be a mistake somewhere, and that would lead to, you know, a lot of cars getting damaged, maybe even the 82 getting back on the lead lap. Like you said, you never know, but the pace car is off. Paul Servant and Dana Osborne are going to lead the field to the green flag. And I believe we are, what is that, about 17 to go at the line this time by KR? The race is going to get very interesting as the green flag is out. Dana Osborne getting pushed by the 31 of Todd Poston. And then the 3 is being pushed by the 04 of Mark Mann. Your top 4 are all chase contenders. Ooh, looks like Todd gave the 88 a little bit of a bad bump. That's going to check up the outside line. DJ's going to get...
Ooh, the 31's going around. The 62 and the 4 have made contact. Yellow down the backstretch.
And I believe we now are going to have all of the chase drivers back on the lead lap tonight. Wow,
so Todd Poston goes around. And this one, that was just a series of events.
Yeah, I would say that all started out with the 31 just giving the 88 just a slightly weird bump that got the 88 out of shape, and then got the 31 out of shape, and that checked up the field, and you had a lot of opportunistic drivers like DJ Mitzel trying to shoot the gap, but the gap got closed very quickly, and that just led to the big stack up, collecting the 61 and the 4 and the 31 of Todd Poston, like you said. So wasted no time already.
Well, let's see if we can figure out if Dan Harrington made any contact with anything. It looks like the 82 was able to get through this one without incident. So he will receive the free pass. That's good news for fans of the 82.
Yeah, I feel like Dan's a very quiet driver. He kind of is very low key. He doesn't really make too many mistakes and doesn't really get his name put up there too much, but you know, coming around to the end of the race, he's somewhere near the front, or you know, just having a good quiet race, and you know, that's never a bad thing. It's going to be good to see him getting back on the lead lap after losing the draft earlier, and you know, giving himself a shot at getting into the final 4 there. You know, anything can happen. Like we just saw a big checkup, and that got him back on the lead lap. And you know, the 4 and the 31 are probably gonna have to take their faster. The 4 and the 61 are for sure gonna have to take their fast repair since they don't have a front end. It looks like the 31 also did. The 61 took his fast repair. I'm waiting for a front end to be put on the 4 of Chris Akers.
Dan Harrington did not receive the free pass. That is going to be the 65 of Jason Grames.
Interesting.
I thought I had seen the 82 ahead of him, but I guess I was looking at the wrong place, and the 65 gets the free pass.
I could have swore that he did not touch anything.
No, Jason Grames was in front of him.
Oh, he was.
Yeah.
Oh, that's just bad timing on the caution. When the caution was thrown, Dan had to check up. No, the 65 was behind him. He must have touched something in the most slightest. I'm gonna have to go back and watch that right now.
Will you let us know? I'll keep us alive. Here's the 3 of Paul Servant. Your race leader, Mark Mann in the 04, Dana Osborne in the 88. Fourth place right now, that's Hunter Reynolds. And rounding out your top 5, the 25 of Jimmy Reynolds. Chris Akers, DJ Mitzel, Todd Poston, all involved in the crash. Have all made their pit stops, been on and off pit road using their first fast repair.
I just found it, and it was literally the slightest touch from the 27 touching Dan Harrington's left rear quarter panel, and that's what cost him the getting back on the lead lap. Touched him so lightly, it was probably a 0x. Didn't even have damage on the car. That's unfortunate for the 82, which hopefully something else can happen and he can get back on the lead lap, and
we'll have the entire 15 car field back on the lead lap.
Yeah, it's gonna be. Oh man, and I don't think Robert Fitzpatrick ever got out on track, so that's unfortunate.
Fitzpatrick has not turned a lap. He has been out of this race before it even started. Oh, I'm wondering if Fitzpatrick came in as a crew chief / spotter for somebody and accidentally registered, because you can see him over in TeamSpeak, but yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, that's true. You could have just hopped in, wanted to watch the race. I know a couple people who like to do that. Yeah, but it's always fun watching, from inside the sim. But it's not as fun as watching the broadcast with us, KR.
Right, there you go. Good plug. Good plug.
Turn 3 Racing Network.
Absolutely. All right, so the field starting to stack up 2 by 2 behind the pace car. And we're getting ready to fire them off once again. We're going to have 8 laps to go to settle this thing. 14 cars on the lead lap. 15 cars taking the green flag in this one here tonight. 8 drivers battling for 4 championship spots. And it is really starting to heat up here as the field has been bunched up under these 2 cautions that we have had back to back. The Paul Servant in the 3, Mark Mann in the 04. That's your row number 1. Then row number 2, the 88 of Dana Osborne. Those 3 championship contenders. And it's Hunter Reynolds on the outside of row number 2 for the restart. Jimmy Reynolds, Pondo Co. Well, they're row number 3. Here we go. How is this going to play out? Only 4 drivers advance into the final round of playoff contention. 7 drivers still on the lead lap to settle this thing out. Travis, I don't know about you, but I'm glad I'm in the booth, because if I was a driver in that situation, I'd probably crash going down the backstretch into turn number 3.
Same. I've been selfish tonight, Kara. I think you should take it. You should take this restart here.
Yeah, all right, so the 3 of Paul Servant leading the field. Green flag comes out, and away we go. That outside lane looks like a couple drivers wiggling as they put the power down. The 3 of Paul Servant has his teammate, the 88 of Dana Osborne, already to his back bumper. They are pulling away from this field here a little bit. The 25 of Jimmy Reynolds with no stress on a championship. That 25 machine might be in a good spot to try and win this race.
Yeah, he's definitely been up front all night, running in that lead pack as The 88's going to drop down in front of the 3 Paul Servant, and you have Hunter Reynolds pushing the 04 Mark Man. So Hunter trying to do everything he can to stay true to his word, but on the outside, I believe that is DJ Mitzel pushing, I think, I don't know who that's Les Levy, and that is not DJ Mitzel, that is Sean Stevens. Things are looking a little fuzzy from up in the spotter stand, but right now, 2x2, Mark is being shoved by his teammate Hunter Reynolds in the 26. As next time by, we're going to be 6 to go. Nobody's really going to the wall. Les Levy and Sean Stevens looking out there, but kind of too far back because there's a checkup on the outside. And that's going to let the inside line continue momentum. And the 88's going to get a pretty good run coming into turn 3. I don't know if we'll be able to keep that coming out of turn 4 KR, but laps are winding down, and I'm only assuming we're going to see people go 3 wide as the 04 Mark Man going to get a good run. Might lead this lap here. And he does, KR.
So Mark Man in the 04 for what I believe would be the first time tonight out in front, not only of the race, but maybe even of the lane that he has been running in. I try and recall the last time I saw the 04 out in front of this race. The 26 of Hunter Reynolds, now the lead car in the outside lane as Mark Man dropped down in front of the 88. Your top 4 championship contenders at the moment: Mark Man, Dana Osborne, Paul Servant, and Russell Hancock in 6th spot. Hancock just ahead of the 61 of DJ Mitzel. Those 2 teammates, DJ Mitzel, Russell Hancock, Todd Poston, all 3 Wide Motorsports drivers, and all 3 of them trying to get their way into the championship contention.
The 343 hopped out to that outside line, quickly got back in line with the 61, giving him plenty of room to get down, but Mark Man looking really nice on that bottom lane, being pushed by the 88 of Dana Osborne. The outside line being led by the 26 of Hunter Reynolds. The 343 is going to go to the wall with the 61 of DJ Mitzel. And they're running a little too high as the DJ almost got into the quarter panel of the 343. That's going to allow the 4 of Chris Akers to make a move through the middle. And the 88 is also going to clear Hunter Reynolds and get to the lead of that top line and continue his momentum. And I'm assuming he's going to lead this lap with ease. And that's going to put Mark Man on the bottom, being pushed by the 3 of Paul Servant. And it looks like the 343 is going to try to go back to the wall, being followed by the 62, and the 62 is going to hop back into the middle. Mark Man's being pushed still by the 3. The 88 getting a good shot by the 26 of Hunter Reynolds. And going into turn 3 KR, they are door to door.
Mark Man on the inside line. Russell Hancock falling back. He is now dropped to the tail end of this field. Hancock finding himself in 14th spot. Mark Man, Paul Servant, Dana Osborne, all right there, trying to settle this one out. They're sitting pretty. And then our next championship contender, well, now that's the 4 of Chris Akers. He's just ahead of the 31 of Todd Poston, who is just ahead of the 61 of DJ Mitzel.
A tight race when it comes to the chase. Winding down the laps, the 88. Oh, the 4 of Pondo Co is going to go to the wall. It looks like the 31 is going to go out there and give him a shot. So, Care, we have a third line finally forming. They want to get it. They're running the right line, and they have the numbers with them. So they are 3 wide, 4 cars deep on each lane. Man, I wonder if we're going to see anybody try to peek at 4 wide out of desperation from the back, KR, as Mark Man is going to lead the lap with 2 to go at the line.
Things are getting very tight. 2 laps to go. Todd Poston in the 31 using the outside lane to make himself the 4th competitor amongst our championship drivers. Chris Akers right in the middle, though. This thing is far from over, and all we got to do is get to the white flag, then it is all bets off. But so far we got very tight racing. 3 lanes as the 3 of Paul Servant has popped his engine, and it is going to stack up the back of the pack, and we got cars sideways. And the yellow flag going to come out.
Looks like Dan Harrington got collected in that once again. Hate to see it for him, but oh, we're going into green white checkers now, KR.
Let's take a look at this, and it's going to start.
Yeah, it started from the 3, popping his engine.
Big time damage on several cars, and a lot of them being chase contenders. But yeah, it started when the 4 popped his engine, and he just could not get out of the way fast enough.
Yeah, when the engine goes, it goes. He went from, you know, I'll try to get a reading on the speed loss that he gets if I can get to my statistics. But he was going 201 when he was pushing, and he went from 201 to when it popped. He lost about 10 miles an hour in about a second, and with a car behind him going about 8 miles an hour faster than him, it's kind of hard to get out of the way as fast as you can. So a lot of people getting caught out there and getting involved in that wreck. Unfortunately, getting a lot of chase drivers damaged. I'm wondering if you're going to see anybody hit pit road to try to get a little splash of fuel, but Mark Mann is going to stay out. The 88 also. So right now, your top 4 moving on would be Mark Mann, Dana Osborne, Todd Poston, and Chris Akers. But, you know, KR, we got 3 tries at green light checkers, and with 4 spots available, I wouldn't be surprised if we see all 3 of them.
All right, so our first attempt at a green white checkered coming up. Several cars on pit lane. Paul Savant in the 3, one of those drivers sitting on pit road. Hopefully everyone had their fast repairs checked, otherwise their race is done. So yeah, very crazy ending shaping up here. We knew it was going to get wild. Travis is you know, drivers fighting for a season championship, trying to keep their hopes alive.
Yep, every spot matters, especially when you know, coming into the cutoff race for the final 4. You know, right now, oh, did somebody just blow an engine? It looks like somebody put it into the wall on the back straight. At least I heard it.
Yeah, it looks like Chris Akers in the 4.
Looks like he popped his engine or something. I'm wondering if he accidentally shifted. He hit the shifter and it popped the engine. So I think that puts the 4 out of the race tonight, KR.
Yeah, something happened to the 4. It has let go.
And the 61 is still on pit road. Been on pit road for 1 minute and 45 seconds. So he's definitely out of fast repairs trying to fix his damage, or he forgot to check his fast repair, or he had a tow, really. It could be any of those 3 things. But that's, you know, that takes out 3 drivers. Not necessarily take out, but, you know, it definitely hurts the 4 of Chris Akers. And with the 82 of Dan Harrington still being a lap down, which, you know, he could get his lap back if he can get through a caution and not get touched. It looks like the chase field is starting to narrow more and more as the lights are out on the pace car. Mark Mann and Dana Osborne is going to lead the field on this first attempt of the green white checkered. The 26 of Hunter Reynolds and the 9 of Pondo Co. making your second row. And then before you get to the next chase contender, it's the 31 of Todd Poston in row number 3 with Les Levy. So a lot of ups and downs in this race, KR.
As always. super speedway racing action, throwing you a curveball and all sorts of calamity coming here towards the end. And a tough break for the 4 of Chris Akers, as with that engine letting go on the 4 machine, you know, this late in the race, his hopes of advancing into the final 4 are done.
Yeah, and I would, if the race finished like it would right now, like if the order they were finishing in, it'd be Mark Mann, Dana Osborne, Todd Poston, and Russ Hancock. Russ Hancock running in P11 with Paul Servant in 12th. So, you know, you have your top 3 right now up there, but that 4th spot is kind of up in the air. But I mean, really, all 4 spots are up in the air because anything can happen. But you're going to see a lot of racing in that back of the field until the rest of this race is over tonight, KR.
All right, so here we go. Pace car has the field under control for the moment. Everyone's stacked up 2 by 2. 1 driver on pit road. That is the 4 of Chris Akers. Mark Mann, Dana Osborne going to lead this field to the green flag. And what will be our first of possibly 2 green-white checkered attempts. The pace car down and away. Mark Mann, Dana Osborne, Hunter Reynolds, Pondo Co, Todd Poston, and Les Levy going to be your front 3 rows for this restart. Here we go. Green flag is out as we try to figure out which 4 drivers are going to advance into the championship race. The 3 of Paul Servant making a move at the back here, trying to work around the 61 of DJ Mitchell. Now he gets to the 82. So Paul
Servant got to get in
Servant,
front of that 343 though.
Paul Servant, who has 3 wins on the season, staring down the fact that he may not have an opportunity to go for the championship, as he is at the tail end of our championship competitors. He has to make his way up to the 343 of Russell Hancock, who of our 8 is in that 4th championship contender position.
And Mark Mann being pushed by the 26 of Hunter Reynolds very comfortably right now. The outside line not really making any momentum. But the 9 and the 88 are going to start to make a head of steam as they come to the white flag this lap. And right now the 343 is still in front of the 3. But Dana Osborne and the 9 are making a big move on the outside coming out of turn 2, KR.
Mark, contact. Pondo Co goes around. He's going to collect Russell Hancock. Todd Poston gets involved. JD Crow goes for a spin. Several cars involved. Hancock, who got shot airborne. But the 3 of Paul Servant was able to get through that one. And coming to win this one, it's the 04 Mark Mann, the 26 of Hunter Reynolds as they work their way through the trioval. Dana Osborne going to make it 3 wide at the line. And it is going to be the 26 of Hunter Reynolds picking up the win.
And you still have Todd Poston coming to the line. DJ Mitchell, you know, just a little too far back, a little too much off pace. I thought he was going to get a little bit closer to the 31, but he actually finishes 1 spot behind the 31. So that was a great race to the line there by the 2688 and the 04. But man, what a finish! The 343 got absolutely demolished in the wall. That's unfortunate.
The big crash down the backstretch coming to finish this thing out. Several drivers getting involved, and man, that was a wild one for sure. As Hunter Reynolds makes his way around to pick up his race win, the 26 at the start finish line. Dana Osborne finishing 2nd, Mark Mann 3rd, Paul Servant 4th. So Paul Servant able to squeeze through. Todd Poston finishing in 8th. That looks like DJ Mitchell, Russell Hancock, Dan Harrington, and Chris Akers will be out of the championship contention, putting Dana Osborne, Mark Mann, Paul Servant, Todd posting in. But here we go. What a race that was. I don't even know where to start on that thing.
I don't either. I was so fixated on like the race for the final spot in the chase. Oh, and then looks like somebody just got shot to the moon there. Oh man. I don't even know. Is that Jimmy Reynolds?
Yeah. All right, so let's go ahead and kick this off by talking to our race winner. That is the driver of the 26. That is Hunter Reynolds. Hunter, you pick up the race win here tonight in a dramatic last lap race. Green, white, checkered. Tell us a little bit about what was going on out there tonight.
Yes, sir. Well, I've been kicked out of the chase, so my main goal, or my only goal, was to get Mark Mann a win. And started behind him there on the bottom and had a good push on him. Everyone wrecked behind us, unfortunately, but he just said, take it, man. I don't know. I just went for it. So should I get Mark in the chase, and I got to win. So it's a good night.
Well, the 26 did cross the start-finish line first, but wasn't without a whole lot of, well, dramatic racing going on. What was it like out there as these drivers in that chase started lining up for this green, white, checkered? Your teammate, you know, looking for some help there. What was the overall feeling in this green, white, checkered? How intense was it is what I'm getting at.
Yeah, so it was really tense. All these chase guys trying to get into the top four. I was trying to get Mark in, and just lining up. You just gotta not let the nerves get to you. Just kind of keep it smooth. Just know what you got to do. And my one job there was to push Mark. So, you know, all those other guys back there, I'm sure they were a lot tenser than I was, but I felt we were a good spot with me pushing Mark up front.
Well, man, a solid job here tonight. Once again, congratulations on the race win. Nice job.
Yes, sir. Appreciate it.
All right, that is your race winner, Hunter Reynolds. And we're going to move on now to our second place finisher. That is the driver of the 88 machine, Dana Osborne. And Travis, you've caught up with him.
Hey, Dana, man, you got a copy?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. How's it going?
Not bad. Not a bad race for you. You know, getting all three of your Candy Shack guys into the chase with you. Must be a relief for you guys to go into next week having 3 of the 4 spots. Or no?
Yeah, yes, sir. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
I was just trying to survive it. You know, I just wanted to finish. You know, I'm surprised I took Mark on second, but you know, I'll take it.
Yeah, you guys had an excellent race. A lot of green flag racing. You guys got onto pit road very well, in and out of pit road, and getting smooth exits and entries. Definitely a strong suit for you guys. You know,
Yes,
coming to
sir.
that last restart, was there any kind of plans for you guys coming to the checkered flag there?
No, I was just, you know, like I said, I didn't care if I finished third, fourth, as long as I finish. You know, like I said, I'm shocked I got second, but you know, I'll take it. I want to give a shout out to Reynolds there and Mark. Man, it's a good race, guys.
I mean, you want to give any other shout outs to anybody?
Yeah. I want to thank my team, Candy Shack, Acres, Holloway, and Paul. It was a pretty good race, man.
All right, man. Great race tonight. Looking forward to seeing you in the Final Four next week. It's going to get tense, and I'm hoping to see some great racing.
Yeah, appreciate it, guys. Y'all have a good night.
You too.
Dana Osborne bringing it home second place here tonight. Well, let's move on to our third place finisher. That is the 04 of Mark Mann. And you bring this home third, Mark. Second place amongst your championship competitors. So looking for the advancement confirmation there, but solid race by the 04 once again.
Heck yeah. I was happy there at the end that Hunter got that. He pushed me to a win a couple races ago, so it was the plan at the end. But he didn't want to. I made him. So it was either I was going to push the brakes and he was going to win or not at all. So I was happy he won. He's been a great teammate all season and appreciate Paul and Dana's help. I hope I made it to the Final Four so I can go blow another championship and be 0 for 9.
Man, I look forward to that happening. And if you do,
Thanks.
drinks are on me, whether you lose or win. I'll tell you what.
Jesus.
Oh man, I've been in this would be my third or fourth NSRA championship. I've been wrecked on the last lap, turned on the last lap in 2 of them, leading. So we'll see if I can repeat history or rewrite history, hopefully. But yeah, I'm happy with that. We had a good run tonight. That was fun.
All right, man. Well, a third place finish. And as far as I can tell, unofficially, the second driver to make it into the Final Four coming up next week at Daytona. So any shout outs or thank yous you'd like to give?
Oh yeah, definitely Hunter tonight for working with me. I mean, if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't even gotten to the position I was in there late. He was very unselfish, and I really appreciated that this season. Paul and Dana too for all their help. They're always fun to work with and race around, and all the sponsors. And thank you at Turn 3 and NSRA, all the admins and the friends and fans at home, and Mara who was watching my race tonight. So yeah, hopefully next week we can make it happen for once.
All right, that is Mark Mann in the 04 going for another championship win. You heard it from him. He's looking to not win one of these, but I think he's due.
I think so too. I hope so. Being
Okay.
a very good competitor as he is.
Let's move on now to the driver who we are considering the third one to make it into the championship Final Four. That's the driver of the 3, Paul Servant. And Paul, man, that one was a wild finish. You started tail end of this field with 7 drivers in the championship chase on the lead lap.
Yeah, I got lucky a couple times tonight. A blown motor and made it through that last wreck, and then it was like a second wreck beside me, and I moved up about a foot and made it through, and yeah, that was crazy.
Well, Paul, it was a wild race for you, and it really only became wild once your engine let go. Up until then, it seemed like this thing was well in hand, and you had pretty much your ticket into the Final Four locked up. What happened with that engine letting go?
She got to 90 a couple times, and 290 a couple times, and I'd let off Mark a little bit, and I was content just staying behind Mark and trying to maybe get him a win. And I seen one lap to go, and I started pushing him a little bit more, and maybe I shouldn't have, and boom, she went. And I recovered. I mean, I've been lucky this season. I've been recovering from stuff like that. So I recovered again, made it through kind of a wreck and a half. Don't know how. I got to look at that replay, but good recovery, and I'm in the round 4.
Well, man, once again, congratulations on advancing into the Final Four. That race taking place at Daytona next week. Any shout outs or thank yous you'd like to give for helping you make it into that Final Four?
Dana, I mean, Chris, Dan, he couldn't make it. So we executed as a team as we usually do all race. Great job on their part. Chris got a speeding penalty getting into one of those first pits there, and couldn't really recover from then. It's too bad, but the team, 3 wide, the league, Todd was helping us there during the race. DJ, JD, I mean, a bunch of guys. Mark, I was helping Mark. I mean, I enjoy racing with pretty much most of these guys. So we'll get it back at it next week.
All right, Paul, once again, congratulations, man, on a nice recovery and making it into the championship 4.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it.
All right, now we're going to move on to the last interview of the night, and Travis Elliott has caught up with that driver, and it is none other than the 31 of Ty Poston.
Mr. Ty Poston, you got a copy, man?
Yes, sir, I do.
Oh, while KR was watching the lead of the race, I was watching the race for that last and final spot. And when that incident happened on the back straight, you were about third in line, sitting pretty, making it to the final four, and then the wreck happened, and I just was watching DJ just catch you slowly, but you got to the line before him, beat him by 1 spot, locking yourself in to that finale next week at Daytona. Did the stress go up just that much more when that incident happened, and you had to recover quickly and keep going?
Oh shoot, the stress had gone up from that last caution on about lap 57. We were just rolling away from everyone.
Yeah, the race was very clean tonight. Everybody was definitely more patient, and then everything literally popped off when the three blew his engine. So that definitely threw a wrench into everything, and went from having 4 cars on the lead lap to having 7 out of the 8 drivers, and just made it more exciting to watch up here tonight. Going into the finale next week, you got any tips that you don't want to tell anybody, or any ideas that you're gotten with your 3 wide team?
My idea this week is hopefully keep the car straight and keep all my faster pairs, so I'm not that worried at the end.
I mean, that's about as good as you can get. that at least that's the stuff that's kind of in your control, yeah.
Hopefully so. Like I said, I usually try and start at the back and see how the race goes, and then try and come to the front after we see how the racing's going.
Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to next week. But you want to give any shout outs to anybody out there, man?
Yeah, just all the 3 wide guys. Hopefully, I know DJ just missed it by 1 spot, and Russ was right there, and I think he got sent to the moon. I think he became an astronaut tonight.
Yep, I believe he's joining SpaceX.
And that's it. Thank you guys for broadcasting every week, and the fans that come out and watch every weekend.
All right, man. You guys definitely put on a show, and I'm looking forward to next week.
Yes, sir. We're looking forward to it too.
KR, back to you, man.
That was Todd Poston, driver of the 31, finishing as our final championship for contender. So, guys, that is going to wrap it up for us here. Our final race, well, that is coming up next week. Our championship race right here on the Turn 3 Racing Network, 9 p.m. Eastern, that takes off at Daytona. Make sure you tune in for that one. So on behalf of myself, championship winner Travis Elliott, we look forward to seeing you next Sunday night. So until then, y'all stay safe and have a good night.